I'm Tyler, this is KC, and you're watching 5 Live tonight. On the show, we have Parker McDonald, not McCollum. So that's hard for me to say.
I've done that to him, Jinx Tyler.
Exactly. With Southern Ground Hunting, though. And Parker is a worship leader, kind of like myself, but probably a lot better gear and a lot better at what he does. Probably plays in front of a lot more people. So not that matters, but it's cool that you get to do that and have that influence. So now you have 15 seconds to tell us anything else about yourself that you want us to know.
All right. I am married to a beautiful woman. I've got 2 kids. I got a 3-year-old and a 8-month-old, and they're both like the same weight. Our 8-month-old is like 30 pounds. He's a giant fella. I love to hunt, love to fish, love Jesus, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome, dude.
It looks like a good haircut going on back there too.
Oh, bro.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm talking about.
I saw it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I wish my hair would do that. I have grown my hair out before, and it's more of the afro status than anything else. Yeah. Okay, so have you been shed hunting this year?
No, it's not really something we do. I mean, some people can out here. I have found like a grand total of I don't know, 4 sheds in Alabama.
Yep.
That's about it. I say that. Let me grab this real quick. This is something like that.
Let's see it.
Look at that. Look at that. Is that a 2x6 back there? That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm planning on doing a wall back here in the back.
For sheds.
Done. So this is a shed that I found in Kentucky. So I've hunted Kentucky a grand total of 2 weeks of my life, and found this shed in those 2 weeks. And in Alabama, I found 4 out of years.
Yeah.
So,
and that's a public land buck shed right there, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yep.
That's pretty much all you hunt, right? Do you hunt private at all?
Yeah, so I hunt deer. I'll hunt private land when I go. My dad has some property up in Tyler, pretty close to where you guys are at.
Yeah.
And my dad lives there. My mom and dad live there. And my dad's got some property that we hunt out close to Edom. I don't know if you know where that's at.
I've heard it for sure. Heard of it, but
it's a little bitty town. But we hunt private out there, and my dad owns. But I didn't have a single private land deer sit in Alabama all season. It was all public.
Yeah.
Is that by choice or by necessity?
I mean, I'm broke, but
Hear that?
but I mean, the amount of money that I spend on out of state tags and stuff like that, I could get on a lease out here. I just choose not to. I have better success on public out here.
Really? That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. So when I think about you, I think about kayaks, and that's just a thing that you're kind of, it just comes to mind, man. It's a correlated thing. So what's the point of using a kayak as much as you do?
So for me in Alabama, our public land, so it's kind of weird. The way our public land works is most of the hunts, you can hunt bow season, or you can hunt with a bow on our WMAs all season long. You can hunt with a bow any day of the season, and that's fine. So if you're only bow hunting, you practically have zero pressure. Now there's not a lot of deer. The deer density is pretty low. The terrain is pretty harsh, and you really have to get to non-pressured deer. And so for me, it's actually the easiest way to get back into some areas that people aren't hitting. Just those non-pressured deer. The kayak, people think it's super hardcore, and it's whatever. It takes a lot of work, and it does. You have to get up a little bit earlier. There's extra steps in there. You're probably going to get wet. But it's a lot easier than hiking. Paddling is way easier than hiking, and I can get a little bit further that way too.
Yeah.
And so that's really for me what it's all about.
Okay, so it's easier. Is there a time efficiency in getting further back on something like that a lot of times? If you're going 1.5 miles in a walk, can you beat that? Whatever that might take, 40 minutes or whatever to walk. Can you beat that?
Yeah. So I just about a year ago, this turkey season last year, I bought a 2.5 horsepower motor for my new canoe. I have a new canoe Frontier 12, and so I can get a mile and a half in like 10 minutes. It don't take any time at all. Like I've gone 4 to 6 miles, especially once turkey season gets started. And I'm like, our turkey season opens Saturday, and it's pretty normal for me to just go to different little sloughs and call and owl hoot and try to hear a gobble. And I can go crap 6 or 7, 8 miles a day sometimes doing that.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I've got some areas that I hunt that I joke about it. I might be accurate. I don't know, but like it literally has 0 human pressure. Like I joke about it that I'm the first person to hunt it since the Indians. So
that's pretty cool.
That is neat, man. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, if you found an arrow sticking in a tree that was cedar or something, that'd be real slick. That'd be real cool.
Yeah.
So how long does it take you, like, from parking your truck to like being on the water on the way? Like, what's that, like, setting things up and getting buoyant? How long does it take?
So I did an Instagram story like sequence this past season, and I woke up one morning at I think it was like 1:45. I had a 3-mile boat ride, and I was set up and ready to hunt at like 5:45. So it was pretty much like a 4-hour from the time I wake up till the time I'm set up. It's about a 4-hour process.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every one of my spots isn't like that. Like I've got spots that are literally, just paddle right across the water. There's a lot of places out here that you cannot access from the road, like the signs that say you can't access from the road. But literally, the cutoff is like all you have to do is just go around a point or a slough, and you're on legal property.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of them, I mean, the spot where I killed my very first deer like this with the kayak, it was like 100-yard paddle, and that was several years ago, and it was just super quick, but it's definitely worth it because you get back there and there's deer all over the place.
Are you? Is that 4-hour time include saddle, or is that a tree stand?
Yeah, it's a saddle. So that's my whole saddle setup. When I used to use a climber, I would say I was probably a little bit longer than that when you consider from the truck to the tree, because it just takes so much longer to get everything put together. And you got to load the freaking climber, you got to unload it. You're carrying it, so you're not walking nearly as fast because you got an extra 20 pounds sitting on your back, and so I can get up, that 4-hour. That was without, really busting it. I was getting in quiet, getting in clean. Actually, that morning I had several deer that were right across the ridge from me where I'd set up that I'd shined their eyes. And I was trying to get in quietly to get away from, spooking them all over. So,
right. So what's the most advantageous thing about the saddle, if you had to pick one?
About the saddle?
Yeah, as opposed to a tree stand.
Ooh, there's just so much, man. Like I would say probably being able to get into any tree that I want.
Mm-hmm.
Especially out here, a lot of the places where I'm hunting are transition areas and real thick undergrowth pine thickets, right on the edge of like clear cuts and stuff like that. And so a lot of those trees are just really tough. They're not the big, tall, straight pine trees that you think about when you think Alabama hunting. And that's really been awesome for me. Now, occasionally, I've got spots. I killed a buck out of a tree that I could have got a climber in this year. But it's just, it's everything that goes into it. There's literally not a downside for me to a saddle. There's none. It's comfortable. It's lightweight. I can wear it while I'm paddling the boat. It's just so much easier. Once you get the system down, it's faster. I can set it up faster.
Yeah. What sticks do you usually use?
So I use some modified hawk heliums that I cut down. Obviously, this year they released the 20-inch helium, so you won't have to mod it yourself. But that's pretty much what I'm using. I've been using the heliums for a couple of years now, and I really like it.
Yeah. So if you're gonna, the thing with saddle hunting is that you can set up in these little gnarly trees that are pretty thick and be able to fit something in there. But I feel like you kind of hunt in a different area where a lot of times you still are probably going to look at a pretty tall straight pine tree and be like, that's the spot too.
Yeah.
So being in a saddle, you're pretty exposed in a situation like that. How high are you need to get in the saddle to still be good on like a straight, pretty bare trunk tree?
So I'm pretty much now. I hunted Florida for the second year this year, and that's about the only place where I'm hunting like really bare pine trees.
Okay.
I'm gonna find somewhere that I can get a little bit of cover almost always. Most of the areas I'm hunting, like I said, are on thickets, so it may be like a straight tree, but it's going to have some type of growth around it, or another tree, kind of breaking up your outline behind you. And so I pretty much never feel exposed when I'm hunting, especially here in Alabama. I don't have a whole lot of areas like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Do you like your weird rut dates down there, or would you rather have a more conventional rut date?
I like them. The reason I like them is because in Alabama, you can pretty much hunt the rut all season long, from November all the way to right now, really. I'm sure there's, if you wanted to, I'm sure there's guys doing it that are, hunting deer chasing right now. Last year, Tyler, I think I told you about this. I went to a WMA last year in like South Central Alabama, so like just a little bit south of Birmingham and north of Montgomery. And it was on opening weekend, so a year ago, almost exactly, of turkey season. And we went in there, man, and this place was just tore up with rubs. I mean, fresh rubs, bucks going in and just thrashing trees. I bet if we would have counted, we could have counted over 150 rubs in like maybe a mile stretch, maybe less than that. I mean, it just seemed like every tree was just tore up. It's crazy. But for me, where I hunt, my rut is normally the first couple of weeks of December. And so what it gives me the opportunity to do is hunt other states for the conventional, November or Halloween through 2 weeks of November or whatever. It gives me the opportunity to do that if I want to. Now, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm just stubborn and I get on deer out here, and I just would rather hunt Alabama.
Yeah, I understand. Well, you got one more question?
Yeah, so we're going to throw everybody like a pretty tough question at the end, kind of is the plan. So prepare yourself. What do you think the most practical hunting application is for your ear gauges?
Oh, man, let's see. Okay, so
we got a real answer.
We're getting a real answer.
All right, so I'm not like a superstitious kind of guy or anything, but I've got a pair of turkey spur earrings that I made, and I was just joking when I first started video, and I was like, I'm gonna wear these turkey. They're gonna be good luck. That's what they're gonna be, and like they fit like perfectly right through the hole. And I swear, the first time I wore them, I killed a bird. It was on opening day on public land. Like the hardest turkeys, maybe the hardest turkeys in the country to kill, Easterns in Alabama, on public land. Like that's a tough bird to kill. And I killed one on opening day.
Nice.
That year.
Awesome.
And that was my first year doing it on public.
Did you hang him from like spurs through?
Well, it would be
that's
hurt
Instagram
pretty good.
That would be cool.
That's awesome. Well, Parker, thanks for joining us, man.
Tell everybody where to find you at, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I host the Southern Ground Hunting Podcast. We've got our own podcast feed, and it's a part of the Sportsman's Nation podcast network, so you can listen to that there. It's all Southern hunting content, anything below the Mason-Dixon line, and sometimes we'll cheat up a little bit and talk to some other people. And but as far over as Texas and as far as I guess the ocean on the East Coast. But we'll talk to anybody like that. That's on the Southern Ground Hunting Podcast and on the Sportsman's Nation Podcast Network. And I'm on the Sportsman's Nation YouTube channels where I put all the videos and stuff at. And I've got a lot of content on there. And then Instagram right here, Southern Ground Hunting. And then Facebook at Southern Ground Hunting as well.
Sure. Awesome, dude. Yeah, good luck with the birds this year, man. It sounds like you're going to be in the woods quite a bit. So I'm
hopefully
following along.
Hopefully, listen, I'm not trying to wish anybody to be sick by coronavirus, but if it's helping your boy turkey hunt, then
less people in the woods.
That's
Bit,
right.
That's right. Yeah. Everybody stay home and stay safe, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, stay in the woods. It's safe in the woods.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll have a good one. We'll see you.
All right, y'all too. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, dude. See ya.